All right, so let's jump in. Very interesting. Are you sweating? Me too. But listen, I'm calling it the Sup'm Show. With myself, Dyson Knight, and definitely the most famous doctor in all of the Bahamas, possibly the whole Caribbean, Dr. Kent Bazard. Give us all your accolades again, Kent.
Oh my God.
Sports physician.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm a certified sports physician. I'm a sports performance coach, and I'm a certified sports nutrition specialist.
awesome. But just before we get into that, who you think the next Shawnee Miller is going to be?
There's a couple in the pipeline, bro.
Yeah.
I can't call them names 'cause I get in
Okay.
trouble.
All
I
right.
get in trouble.
Right.
But
Okay. I got you. I got you.
you have a lot of talent coming up, and that's my passion. Is trying to get them ready. Is trying to get them ready for the next level. That's my passion, bro. That's what I do every day now.
Gotcha. All right. I'm missing touch my headphones, but that's cool. They'll come back on when they're ready. I can still hear you. Where'd you go? Did my headphones do that? Oh, what type of psych is this? B, tell him he knocked out. Tell him to come back in. I'll tell him. See, this struggle is the reason why I stopped doing my last show, Curtain Call, because these platforms are just so unpredictable for live. But when he comes back, I'm not going to touch anything. I promise. I'm not going to touch my ears anymore. Should I start singing again? To the limit, to the wall. I wonder if that had something to do with me touching these head. We struggle, y'all. Ain't no way around that. We are struggling today. The we had Dr. Bazard and then he left. And I can't have this conversation by myself because I am not the professional that he is in the field. I could talk to you about parenting because I got plenty kids, but I can't talk to you about mental health issues. And I need someone to bounce it off of. Okay, so I'm gonna say I can't. I can't. Discipline. Now, I've known Ken for many years, and I'm hoping he comes back in because these are the type of things that I had scheduled to talk to him about. But discipline your children. Disciplining to discipline. Is it discipline or disciplining? The act of discipline. Y'all know what I'm saying. I'm a soft parent. I am like, ah, give her what she wants. Let her stop crying. Because I have like this thing where I can't take too much noise. But when I get stern, because I do that too, um, it doesn't matter how much a child cries. Now, my responsibility as a parent, I feel, is to learn my child and try to figure out various ways of getting through to them and communicating with them, trying to see what works. I noticed that with Zindara, the last child, Wendy does this thing. Okay, awesome. Wendy does this thing. Well, when I about to lose it, because she's screaming and carrying on and no, daddy, I don't want it. You know, big energy. She tells her to breathe. Because I'll tell you one thing: when the children start carrying on like that, you start to forget that they are just children. You forget that I forget that she's a 3-year-old and she doesn't really understand how to control her emotions as yet. And that that is that is something parents need to know, and in knowing that, you adjust and you stop getting angry so quick, and you know that you can't just beat your children because you're frustrated. And then that's another thing. Who's into beating? Because I personally, I don't beat. I mean, I spank a couple of my kids, but for serious reasons. But generally, I just talk to them hard and I tell them how disappointed I am, and they end up crying and feeling hurt, and it doesn't happen anymore. So that works for me. Um, but how do you deal with a growing child? Because I stopped getting beaten. I was about 14. And I think my mom stopped beating me because I didn't cry. The last beating I got, she was wailing. I mean, she was swinging with all her might, left, right, center, uppercuts, all type of things. And I think it's because I didn't clean the kitchen or something like that. And I didn't cry, not one tear drop. I didn't scream, not one holler, not one ow, nothing. And I think she realized that, okay, beating me ain't working. Um, but how do you deal with a child that reaches that stage where cut it don't work no more, and they are a bit out of control? Um, and in our society, in the Bahamas, you know, the most we would look externally for assistance in parenting is, I can tell your daddy when he come home, or something of that sort, which opens another can of worms. Is the daddy coming home? Um, so it's a lot to unpack here, and I think I need some help. So Dr. Bazard is going to make his way back in here, I think in a couple of minutes. And the discussion is going to start at 15-year-old child with mental health issues that destroyed his mom's house after being punished by taking away his cell phone. I believe you sent it. Oh, okay. All right, he's coming back now.
How's that?
Did I mess that up? Okay.
Is that better?
He's coming back now. Yeah, it's better. I know my headphones aren't on anymore, so you can hear me fine.
Sorry about that. Yeah, talking about being a daddy, my daughter called me and kicked me off.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't me. I was freaking out because it's like, did I do that when I touched my? Because it literally happened the second I touched my headphones.
Yeah,
like,
sorry about that.
Just turn it off.
Next time I'll make sure I'm logged in way before. All right, apologies, everybody. I think I'm here. I think we're good. I'm not going to touch anything. We're good.
I got you. We still here. We're still good. All right. So yeah, man. So let's get it in. This we restart again. My name is Dyson Knight. I am an international recording artist, entertainer extraordinaire. And video was paused. Okay, I unpaused the video just now. I am sitting with my best friend from grade 1. We've grown apart over the years, but this is Dr. Kent Bazard, sports physician, rocket scientist, astronaut. No, give it to us one more time. You can.
Hi, good night, everybody. I am Dr. Kent Bazard. I am a sports medicine physician. I am a sports performance coach, and I am a sports nutrition specialist.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And I wanted to start our conversation with the 12, like I told you in the gym at Empire Fitness out there in the East. I wanted us to discuss the 12-year-old boy that ramshacked his mom's house because he was on punishment. She took away his cell phone. But I'm understanding from earlier in the life that the child was actually 15 and he suffers from mental health issues. Now, when I wanted to jump into this with you, I had a few questions. Like, I wanted to figure out what would make a child get so angry that they would do something like that. So understanding that the child had mental health issues kind of answers that question. But at the same time, what level of mental health issues, and is there a, and this is from I guess from a doctor's point of view, is this a sign that 15-year-old child who with mental health issues wasn't being properly monitored? Is it normal that we would leave a 15-year-old child with health issues home alone long enough to be able to inflict that level of damage? Because it must have taken him some time to get through the entire house. I mean, every room had destruction. So do we, well, we'll start there. Do you think this situation now, knowing that detail, falls more on the side of parenting?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I'm not a psychiatrist. I had to do a few months of psychiatry. They're in psychology at different levels of my education. But I have to say that this sounds like some type of breakthrough. If he is truly a known patient or a known case of some type of behavior disorder or something like that, and he's been treated, he's been evaluated, he's been diagnosed. By 15, he should have been diagnosed. If this is true. However, unfortunately, sometimes they're not diagnosed. Sometimes the parents just know that something's wrong, but they never take them to get care. So that's a whole other thing. But so we don't know enough. But this seems like a breakthrough. What I'm saying is, if the way she reacted, this is like something like this has never happened before. I hope not, because like you said, that's a high level of destruction. It was so much that it was kind of hard for me to believe that this was a spontaneous reaction. It was so much. I mean, the kid touched everything in the house, everything.
Right.
And I mean, it had to be a sledgehammer that he used. Because I mean, I don't know if you've touched a toilet bowl. It's pretty hard. You're not going to punch that or kick that, right?
Right.
So sledgehammer or something this guy took. So it kind of looked intentional that it was so much raw destruction. So so if it's not intentional, and this actually is a case of a patient that has some type of psychiatric illness or mental illness, then this sounds like some type of breakthrough where either the treatment he was getting is no longer working, or the medication he was getting is no longer working, or maybe he stopped taking it, or something else happened that precipitated this episode, because this is like an extreme episode. To me, just looking at the video, it seems to be very extreme. So can we blame the parent? We don't have enough information. We don't know if he is being seen, if he is getting treatment. She sounds like a single mom. I'm not sure, but it sounds like a single mom. That works. So if that's a lot of pressure for two parents, much less one.
And I wouldn't even want to say blame the parent. I would say help the parent. Like, is this a situation where we should try to help the parent and not replace the items that she lost? I mean, obviously you'd want to help with that, but help the parent to understand that there's another level or a deeper level that the parent has to go into in order to ensure that she is safe, that her possessions are safe, and that the child is safe. Now, speaking about parenting, because I have a few members in my family that suffer from mental health issues, and I know that they've had episodes where they were a bit hard to control and would be aggressive to an extent of fighting and stuff like that. So I do know, or I do accept the fact that this isn't just a matter of someone just having a tantrum. It is a mental chemical imbalance that takes place. So I would wrap this up and say, okay, we'd have to dig deeper into to what's going on, and that's just an unfortunate situation that took place. But jumping on parenting now, because we've had a lot of issues at the start of the school year here in the Bahamas, with there being, I've heard of stabbings.
Right.
So what? I mean, again, and I know you've already give you a disclaimer that you're not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but you do work with children. You work with kids now. I'm training them for athletics. What possesses a child, by your estimation, to get so angry, or what shuts off in that child's humanity to make them angry enough to stab another child?
So we're not too unfamiliar with this ourselves. I mean, it doesn't, or it didn't happen as much probably as it does now. But we've had quite a few incidents when we were in high school, with kids getting killed and kids getting shot. It was fairly rare, especially getting shot. The stabbings were rare, but they happened. I think that, number one, at that age, you have a low.
Yeah. What school you had I sorry. I don't remember any of my schools. I remember Rock was at SC McPherson. And Rock
Yeah,
was at SC McPherson was totally different from Rock was at Bahamas Academy. Bahamas
yeah,
Academy, if you threw a pebble like this, you lock up. You
yeah.
not lock up, but you go into the principal's office and you're being dealt with, you get suspended. When I went to SC McPherson, it was like a hail of boulders this side flying over my head. And and I still don't remember anyone dying. I remember people getting in trouble for having weapons in their backpacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But under no circumstances, you know who used to have gun and stuff like that? I remember the stories. Those y'all private school children. Not us SC McPherson children. The private school children. I remember St. John's in particular having an incident with a child having a weapon in their backpack. I think it was a gun.
Yeah.
But here we are, um, beyond the anger issues. No, let's not go beyond the anger issues. I digress. I actually jumped in. The anger issues in these young people. You're saying that it's nothing new.
No, what I'm saying is, well, at its core, it's not new. This is more a result of not dealing with the problem, and we should have 30 years ago, or 40 years ago. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't deal with issues like these in the society, it gets worse and worse.
Right.
And so
Of
with each
course.
generation, it's just going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. And media doesn't help, because media has desensitized us to violence in a huge way, right?
Yeah.
They desensitize us to violence. They've desensitized us to sexual content and lots of other things. So, even language. Certain things that they say on TV now, you couldn't dare say when we were kids.
That is
So
so true.
so
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, so everything is kind of getting to this extreme. Or maybe we just, but anyway, it's developing, it's progressing. But what I was saying was, at that age, you kind of don't have a concept of consequences for your actions,
Right.
and that's not really an excuse, but at the same time, even though, look, I was one of those rock throwing guys, and I used to have a pretty big knife in my bag too, like this. I can't even, like this big. All right. So I had a pretty big knife in my bag.
Private school children.
That was purely defense, because I went to school. My school was a war zone. My school was a war zone because if you know, Bahamas Baptist College, BBC, big up to everybody. They used to call us the private government school, or the government private school, right?
Right.
Everybody from every school that got kicked out came to our school. So we had gang members from all the gangs in our school. At one point, we had 3 gang leaders in our school. 3.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So our school used to be under siege.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Right.
God bless and respect Dr. C.W. Saunders. It's called C.W. Saunders now. But that school, went through a real rough period where we had gang members from 3 different gangs. You had guys from Nassau Village, Elizabeth Estates, Fox Hill, Seabreeze, all of Eastwood, and all of those guys. Then we had guys from Yellow Elder, South Beach, East Street. I mean, it was a
Fair enough.
horrible, it was a really horrible.
Fair enough. You had to defend yourself.
So what I'm saying is, even so, when these things came about, I witnessed a stabbing or two at our school, but I mean, in that moment, you don't think about the consequence. You don't think about the consequence of taking a large stick and hitting somebody in their head with it. You kind of
Right.
don't think about it. All you think is, I can whop this back, I can knock this buried out. You thinking that in your head. But at that age, you're not thinking about the fact that if you hit this guy, he could bleed in his head, he could die, and you could go to jail for murder, and you could not come out until,
Right.
your siblings have grandchildren, right? So
yeah,
we don't think about that, and I think it's even worse now. And yes, that has something to do with parenting. And parenting is rough and challenging for multiple reasons. It's challenging for 2 parents with good jobs and good education. So it's definitely challenging for 1 parent with 3, 4 jobs and no education. You understand? So
facts.
So what do we do? However, even though I said that, we can't excuse some of these parents. And we gotta be real. And we can't excuse some of these parents. And if you talk to some of the teachers, they'll tell you that a lot of the parents are the core reason why the children behave the way they behave. I just had one tell me today that he used to teach. I still ain't got no name, but he used to teach at a private school all his career, and now he had to move to a public school for the past year. And he said it's been a real eye opener. And the difference between the parents is so vast. He said you have parents who are more concerned about the child hair and the child's shoes than they are about the books and them getting their work done. And if you send them home because of the shoes, they'll cuss you out.
Right.
But when you send them home with the poor grade, they don't check for that. They don't say, well, what I need to do to fix this grade. You understand what I mean? So we're more concerned about the child hairdo and the child's shoes than we are concerned about the grades this child getting and why this child is not being productive. Or what I can do about it. You want to blame the teacher. They say, oh, the teacher marked the question wrong. No, the question wrong. I mean, the question is wrong. You know what I mean?
I mean, how do you feel about the argument that it's valid, that parents today have to work too hard in order to monitor their kids as much or even at all?
So this kind of gonna blend into another argument, but there are people who believe that the situation that we had in the home maybe 100 or 200 years ago, where the man went out and the woman stayed home, was the best scenario for the children. That's up for debate. I certainly enjoy my corporate wife, but what I'm saying is a lot of reason why children are not getting the nurturing care they need is because they don't see their parents enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that the parents don't spend enough one-on-one time with their kids. We're quite happy to toss a device in their hands. I'm guilty of that too. But just this afternoon, I was outside with my son spraying him with a hose. I mean, you got to do stuff with your kids.
Yeah.
And you got to help. If you have discussions with them, and it's not gonna happen in one shot. But if you're continuously in your kids' ear and in your kids' life about why they need to be doing what they're doing. Okay, this is why you need to learn history. This is why you need to learn your maths. This is why you need to get good grades, period. So that when you finish school, you can be productive. You can be a productive person on earth. You know what I mean? And be able to be able to reach the dreams you want to reach. So what I'm saying is, you need to be able to communicate that with your kids. If you don't understand that, then you can't communicate it.
All right. Well, that takes me to a topic of discussion that maybe it's very risky. And being in the entertainment field, I'm very, very used to it. It doesn't move me at all. I've actually registered as it not being my business. But at the start of school, there's also the circulation. There's also the circulation. Yes, Wendy takes Zindara out. They have their lunches and stuff like that. So she's doing an awesome job being interactive with her. But there are some homes that, okay, wait. There are pictures of young women with boy-style hairdos that would circulate in social media. And then there was also the talk. I didn't see any of it, but there was the talk that there was a young man who went to school in a female's uniform. Now, the first thing that came to my mind is, well, what is the home like? I mean, maybe they come from homes that don't have conventional relationships. Maybe and at that age, they try to express themselves exactly how they feel.
Definitely.
So we think about, I'm thinking, are we doing more damage by the type of response that got from the public, from the general public, of dismay and disgust and people just making fun of it, as opposed to accepting where these children are? Are we setting ourselves up now for a situation where 30 years from now, these children are going to lash out and be destructive, to be more aggressive in our society because their parents went through things like this, and then now they want to, what are we doing, and are we doing the right thing as a people, you think, to deal with our LGBTQIA community?
So here's the thing. Sorry, this is very unprofessional.
What, you mean that beverage? I wish I had mine.
No, crunching ice on a live Facebook Live. That's very unprofessional. But no, but I think we have, this is a reality show, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So here's the thing. I have my personal beliefs about these things, right? Everybody is, and here's the thing, everybody has a right to their personal belief. And this is something that everybody needs to get over before we have any type of discussion. Everybody needs to get over the fact that everybody has a right to their belief. That's the first thing.
Absolutely.
So once we're past that now we can start to talk about what is the effect now of what's going, especially when we're talking about children. It becomes a concern. I don't care about adults. You're an adult. Do what you want to do, however you want to do it. You want to identify as a lizard? Go ahead and do that, man. Like, enjoy that. Right? But don't tell me that I have to believe that you're a lizard, because I don't. Right. And I won't. Right. But when it comes to children now, I think now the community kind of is automatically involved, because like a guy that I listened to said, we have to grow up with your disgusting children. You know what I mean? So if you're going to send these disgusting, unsociable children into the world, we have to deal with them. So yes, we have some input. We can voice our opinion about your children, especially if you make it public.
Right.
So my issue is, did you listen to the follow-up video with the alleged child that was in the picture? She
No, you have to
allegedly
fill me in.
she allegedly released a video that seemed, it looked like a TikTok video, saying how, everybody talking about me, et cetera, et cetera. But my thing was, she immediately went into violence. She said, "Man, if y'all
Mm.
want to deal with me, come see me, man. I could deal with y'all." Blah, blah, blah. So so that was more concerning about me. If you, however you want to choose to explore, to live your sexuality, you know,
Right.
to me, as long as it's not heavily influenced by the outside,
Right.
that's fine. But if it's going to lead to aggression, if it's going to lead to you being physical and actually threatening person's life on TikTok, then something's wrong. Like
Right.
I made choices in my life, and those choices haven't made me have to threaten people on social media, right?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like threaten people directly, she called a name and she said this person could come and see me.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I mean, but what does a person do when their back is up, when they feel like their back is up against the wall, like they feel like they're being attacked? Like, wouldn't you
Well, they're going to lash out, but
expect?
this is what I'm saying. She, instead of worrying about, and this is just my opinion again, instead
Mhm.
of focusing on whatever it is that she's trying to portray or to be, she
Mhm.
need the persons that are around her, I think, should be focusing on making sure that she has the support structure she needs so that she
Mhm.
develops into whatever it is she wants to develop into.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
if she's going to get in a fight over it and attack somebody and kill somebody or somebody kill her, then
Mhm.
there's no
Yeah.
point. What was the point then? What did we achieve? We didn't achieve anything.
Nothing.
It was a total waste.
Nothing.
Matter of fact, it
Right.
was a huge loss because now somebody is either in jail or somebody's in dead, or both. So,
Right.
so what is the point? What did we achieve? We didn't achieve anything. Did we make any point? Did we convert anybody? No, we didn't. So, so what's the point here? Let's focus on what's really important. What's really important is the child who feels attacked, who feels threatened, and her first way to respond to that is literally with a threat that somebody can actually take, that they have recorded, and somebody can take and say, "Hey, this person threatened me." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm. I'm
So
at the stage of
I
my.
think that's more important.
It is definitely more important. I'm at the stage where I have these conversations with my 16 and 17-year-old children about who they are and what that means in the society that they exist in. My son's about to be 18, and he is the darkest skinned child, right? And he often, yeah, I guess he grew up with people just saying, oh, pointing out the fact that he is of a darker complexion and his other siblings. Um, but so the conversations that I had with him of recently has been um, about existing as a dark-skinned young man and he lives in Canada in in um in a European colonized nation, right? Um, and existing in the reality that of a uh, buried racism, meaning hidden,
Uh-huh.
you know, systemic racism. And I feel as though it's my responsibility as a parent to prepare him for what he may public,
Agreed.
whereas he
100%.
isn't, right, he doesn't get angry, he doesn't take the bait, right? Because people are going to poke at black people all the time to try to trigger us to display what they want to call us. Oh, savage, violent,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
ignorant. So my thing is, and once you make somebody mad, that's exactly what they're going to be, savage, ignorant, and violent. So,
Yep.
so I think parenting is important. I think it's a matter of taking the responsibility, the huge responsibility of such. When you have a child that is born with mental health issues, when you have a child that's born with darker skin, when you have a child that is born with learning disabilities, health issues, like you have to step up to the plate. Um, and I think that's no different in this situation with these young ladies and with this young man. I think we as a nation, as a people, like you say, we have, well, everyone has a right to say whatever they want to say. But in their little tight-knit community, they should be prepared to deal with the jackasses, like the people, the insensitive people that they are going to encounter. And I believe we can't expect that, they just could be lucky and not have to endure what these possibilities. I don't know
Yeah,
if you agree.
that is extremely insightful and in my opinion very accurate. Um, I don't know who it was. Somebody made a statement that I heard once, something like Disney is destroying the world. Something like that he said. But I understood what he meant. What he meant was, and that's old Disney and new Disney, right? So
Uh,
old Disney is destroying the world by making us believe that um every how does the song go? Everything is awesome. You know that
right.
song because from the Lego thing. So sorry, we have kids. All right, so everything is awesome. Everything is not awesome, and your kids have to be able to deal with things not being awesome, and you as a
Right.
parent, especially since you as a parent are responsible for most of what they're going through. Um, you have to prepare them for whatever, or if you have to prepare them and support them for what it is that they're going through,
Right.
right?
Right.
What they will be going through, and what they are going through. If my one of my children makes a decision that I know is going to be a difficult one for them going forward, and even if I don't agree with it, I'm going to say, well, listen, I don't agree with it, but here's the thing: this is what you're going to face, and in my opinion, this is how you should react to it. You know
Right.
what I mean? But
Right. That's good.
everybody's not gonna like everything about you, even if you're perfect. There are people who can't
Hmm.
stand me. I have no idea why. But there are people. I think I'm a nice guy. I try to help everybody I can. I try.
Facts.
I'm mostly passive. I'm less passive than I used to be, but I'm mostly passive. I let people shout and scream in my face and don't say anything. I'm a pretty decent guy, I think.
Right.
But
Yeah, man.
but
I vouch for you.
there are people who can't stand me. So I mean, they crucified Jesus Christ. So I mean, he raised people from the dead. So
Ah,
there are people out there who are not
Black
gonna
Jesus
like you.
Christ. They crucified him.
They killed him. A mob of people, not one or two or 10. A
Right.
mob of people decided that they're gonna kill this guy. They're gonna
Hmm.
drag him to the streets. They're gonna nail him to a cross. What did he do? Oh, he raised people from the dead. He fed a couple thousand people with a few pieces of bread.
Hmm.
Um, he healed some people that were sick. He taught
Hmm.
some people and made them good. He made some people change from their wicked ways. Oh yes, let's kill that guy.
Yeah.
So some people are not gonna like you regardless of what you do, and you have part of your responsibility as a parent is to prepare your kids to deal with that and not crumble into
Hmm.
some type of or retreat into some type of off the cuff behavior because
Right.
they're not accepted and they're not liked. One thing
Right.
about me, and I have to thank my parents for this, I was always strong by myself. Always. I could be by myself, no problem. And
Ditto.
I
I still
mean
like that.
zero, zero problem. I didn't need no friend to play with me. I didn't need people to like me. I didn't
Right.
need to be seen. I didn't need to be heard. I didn't need none of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
All I
Vibe.
needed was my entertainment and a little bit of sports and activity, and I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, so but no, nobody's perfect, no one's invincible. But I mean, you have to train yourself to be able to behave that way. But just today, bro, just today, before you said that, just today, we were outside. My daughter's outside with me. Her friends were next door. I know and I said, "Isn't that your friend?" She said, "Yeah." And she named off everybody who's over there. So I said, "Aren't you gonna go?" She said, "No." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because she said, "I've been up and down all week." Because she goes, she does 3 things a day. She does school and 2
Right.
other things. So she's
Yeah.
like, "I've been out of the house the whole week." I said, "I want to be home." I said, "Do it. All right. No problem." You know what
Proud
I mean?
moment. Very
So I
proud
mean,
moment.
you have to be able to accept people not liking you. You have to basically accept people being right in your face and calling you
Right.
names. Like you got to be able to
Right.
accept and tolerate that,
Right.
and respond appropriately.
And I think respect is at the end of that exercise of just like allowing people to be whatever they want to be, and you continue being who you are, and you stand strong on that. But I wanted to switch gears because you said something about being invincible. This is total left now, because it's my understanding from what I've seen on YouTube and the videos from the King's Parade that the King cannot catch COVID. Am I correct on that? is,
Well,
is is the king no, but is the king immune to COVID? Because I know every time I go into a store here in Nassau in the Bahamas that I have to wear a mask. And I didn't see anybody on the streets in the parade wearing any mask. And I didn't see the king wearing any mask. And he was shaking a bunch of hands. I said, I know these people didn't have no COVID
hand
tests.
sanitizer.
I said, I know they had no hand sanitizer. People are there yelling. I know when you yell, you spit. People are spit when they yell. So obviously the king cannot catch COVID. Now, here's my question. Do you think, along with is the king immune? Does a kingship just automatically make you immune to viruses? And also, our PM was at the he met with the same king who was shaking everybody hand. I know he ain't using no sanitizer because he immune. Um, do you think that we should lift our mask mandate here in the Bahamas? So tell me if you think the king is immune, and tell me if you think we are ready to lift our mask mandate.
No, the king is
If
not
you
immune. No, the king is not immune.
got to be
Yes, we
man,
should
I'm
live. Yes,
talking
we should
foolish.
live our mask mandate.
Simple,
That sounds good
simple.
enough.
So now let me get controversial about it. One of the MPs selling masking because I trying to figure out why we still have.
Um, we have a tradition in our country of being the last to do, or one of the
Preach,
last to
brother.
finish.
Preach.
That's a tradition. That's a tradition. We always
Preach.
want the last people to do things, and I also think that we point fingers a lot, so nobody wants, especially politicians. Politicians don't like fingers pointed at them,
Yeah.
right? So if we eliminate the mask mandate and then everybody, there's another wave of COVID, then they can say, "Oh, see what y'all did? Y'all took the
Right.
mask off, and then there was a wave of COVID." Like that have anything to do with anything? It has nothing to
Right.
do with it. So I mean, it's a tricky thing, and that's why I couldn't do politics. Like I know I wouldn't survive at all. Like I
Hmm.
wouldn't last in politics at all. But um, as far as the mask mandate is concerned, I can almost guarantee you that a study is going to come out and that's going to show that the mask didn't do as much as we think it did. Um,
Right.
but I still maintain, like I did from the beginning, that we already have a clear idea of who the high risk people are,
Yeah.
meaning people who probably shouldn't get COVID, and if they do, it's going to be a very risky thing for them. We know who
Right.
these people are. And I think
Right.
those are the people, the next time this type of thing comes around, those are the people who should do, there should be different levels of, what's the word? Safety,
Uh,
like different
right.
levels of barrier
I'm just
protection
dealing
and
with
things
it.
like that.
Yeah, dealing with it.
Right, you have different levels. So a person who's who has autoimmune deficiency, probably a senior age, you know, the immune system isn't working well, they have a very severe disease. This is a person that should probably stay home, sanitize a lot, always wear the mask indoors and outdoors, minimize the contact with outside people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody don't need to do that. Just these persons. And then I think it should be up to patients. I think people should be able to make their own decision about whether they want to do that or not. If people can decide to be cats and dogs, why in the world we can't decide that I don't want to wear a mask? I don't, to me, I just don't understand. I can decide that I'm not going to be Ken Bazard anymore. You must identify me as Robo the dog. Okay? And that's boom, no problem. But I don't want to wear I take my mask off and people start freaking out, dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, so I don't, so to me, that's a little, that don't balance out, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, and I know I'm making fun, but I'm just saying that I think we're beyond that right now. If persons, I think the numbers are way down. I think we can lift the mask mandate for now. And and I think that people should have choice. People have a choice. Should have a choice about whether they want to you know, wear it or not.
I don't know what feet talking about. All right, brother. I mean, quick recap. We're gonna be calling this show the Sup'm Show. We can do this at 6:30 on Sundays as often as we possibly can. We may even graduate to doing a bit more. I know you said that you just launched your new practice. Last week you gave us that information. I think that is splendid. Congratulations on that again.
Thank you, sir.
I almost completed my entire roster of workouts at Empire Fitness. I just didn't do the dips. I will make that up. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Bazard is also a virtual coach. He has a virtual coaching program. Y'all can come to give Empire Fitness a call and inquire about that. It is phenomenal. Look at that. Look at that. I've been able to bounce back from my my accident and from all of that COVID bread I was baking. So y'all definitely do that. So we talked a little bit about mental health and the situation with the child that destroyed the mother's home. We bridged into parenting and the importance of learning your children and figuring out how to deal with them. And that took us into the whole issue with children being able to cope in various social environments. I think it's a very healthy conversation, Dr. Bazard. I think we should definitely, I think we owe this to our people. Oh, and we also discuss whether or not the king is immune to COVID and whether we should lift our mask mandate. So there's a lot more we got to discuss. We will pick another topic, and then we do this again Sunday, 6:30.
6:30, and I apologize. We're gonna make sure we have no technical difficulties next week.
Hey, trust me, I just run with it now. So yeah, the Sup'm Show, a new thing. We gonna grow this thing. It's gonna be a big thing. Yo, peace.